Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2020 playthrough. So we are into the 2023 tournament season. I've got the Big Ten brackets up right now. I'm going to go ahead and send through this tournament, and we might get to the point of, depends on how much time it takes, we may even get to the point of the selections for the Final Four tournament. But we'll definitely get through this Big Ten tournament. May look at some other tournaments if we have time. I think for me, I'm always interested in seeing how the rest of the major conferences played out. But starting off where we're at, this Big Ten, you can see on the right, you'll see the top seeds here: Indiana, then Maryland, Michigan State, Purdue. That's 1 through 4. Wisconsin and Illinois, they get kind of a bye there. They're going to play the winners of these first two games. And as for us, Penn State, in some ways we've got one of the better matchups I guess we could hope for. We're seated ninth in the brackets, but we're playing a tough Iowa team. If we go back to the dashboard, I'll take a look at that. I think we lost in our only game that we played against them. It would be great if we win, but I'm not totally expecting it. And if we win, then we're playing Wisconsin, who, believe it or not, we had a big win. It was at home, but we had a pretty big upset win over Wisconsin, one of our biggest wins of the year. So getting 2 wins out of this would be phenomenal, really phenomenal. But more than likely, we're going to end it pretty early, and I don't foresee us getting any postseason tournament offers, but that would be awesome as well. Starting off, just to take a look at the office, I mean, our goal was 15 wins. This seems to be pretty standard from what I've seen with the previous team, Austin P, that I was on. Qualifying for the NIT tournament, finishing top half of conference, finish above 500. So I thought 15 wins were in there, but no, we're going to have a tough. There's none of these I don't think we're going to meet this year. So how that factors into job security for next year is going to be a good question. But I'm at least feeling pretty good about the first season that we had. I mean, this team was terrible, really terrible. I know I'm skipping around here, but I think it's here. There's somewhere where I can see their history, the team history. Let me see if it'll show me here. Season recaps. So we have won more already than this team's won in the last 3 seasons. So that's got to be worth something, I'm hoping. I mean, they're coming off an 11-win season. That was their best season since I've started this playthrough, which started in the 2019 season. And I started with Austin P in the OVC conference, if you haven't been watching so far. So I feel like we made some big improvements. Hopefully they'll be happy with it in terms of job security. But let's go ahead and I want to verify that Iowa situation, because I think it was only one time that we played them. I may be wrong. So we played them early in the season on the road, lost by 11. So yeah, that was the only time we played them. So odds are probably not in our favor here. But scouting report, our assistant coach who does scouting, he's going to probably put us pretty low, and it is. It's 72-28 to their advantage. They're giving us the bench is the only thing that we have an advantage on. Point guard and small forward. So it's mainly outside where we have any kind of chance, I think, of playing even with them, and that's what we're going to do. I mean, we're going to stay with the strategies that I have, which is to run, some motion, flex, flex, high post, 5 out, and we'll just hope that we have a lucky break here, and we'll get to it. So I'm gonna go look at it from this angle, and let's see if we can do it from the brackets instead of just the game by game look. And we're doing a day at a time here for now. And looks like we're about there. Come on. All right, so the first round's games, Northwestern over Ohio State. Ohio State, they haven't been too good since I started simming this program. Like I say, the 2019 season. Michigan managed to beat Rutgers. Probably no surprise there. And we've got a message here. What's the message we got? Well, it's another scouting report on Iowa. I don't think that's going to change. Actually, it's 71-29 now. It was 72-28. Man, this would be a huge one if we could somehow win it. I forgot. I meant to sim only. Sorry. So let's go to the tip off, and I'm going to do it within the game. So I should be able to. I think I should be able to. Sim it, but I guess not. Sorry. So I'm going to have to go back to the dashboard view or the individual game view on this one. So just show the games grid. Michigan beat Illinois, so they move ahead. Minnesota, Wisconsin, they're going to be going through. So we're going ahead and sim it, and then, oh man, that was depressing. 99-68, and then we'll go back to the bracket view. Again, I didn't really expect anything. Iowa in this, I think it was either the first season when I was with Austin Peay or maybe the second, they won the national title. They're not as good this season as they have been in previous seasons with this playthrough. I'm going to take a look at the box score just to see how it went down. I think we have maybe a couple players here. This is their last game. So Bo Morris, for instance, man, a bad way for him to go out. Just 4 points in this game. Robinson, Sandin. In some ways, Sandin, I think, really showed some improvement as the year went on. But he's not really a great defensive player at center, and I'm hoping that'll change when the ratings update going into next season. Off the bench, one guy that I'm really trying to get some time here is Isaac Jones. He's a 4-star potential power forward. With Bo Morris leaving this season, I'm hoping that he's going to be one of the top candidates to replace him. But man, his coach relationship has just nosedived. I'm not too confident that he'll stay on the team. One of the things that I saw with Austin Peay, unfortunately, when you have players who are freshman, sophomore, for instance, they've got good potential, but they maybe you're not being able to give them a lot of play time. When that coach relationship goes down, you run the risk of them transferring out. And I know that happened with my best player. I think it was after this first or maybe the second season. I think it was the second season I was with Austin Peay. Our best player transferred out. And he was starting. I was giving him minutes. He was our leading scorer, but that relationship took a dive. It's a hard thing to improve on. I think sometimes it's a little bit of a gray area type thing. If it's an attitude problem, you can call them and address it that way. But if it, like with this guy, I'm really thinking the problem is he doesn't like the play time or he doesn't like our record. Who knows? But it's hard to improve on that other than just give him a lot of play time and hope that it makes him happy. And I just couldn't see doing that. I gave him as much as I could, but Morris was just such a, he was a better player. And even though I'm trying to kind of build for next year and beyond with this program right now, I didn't want to just throw in the towel completely. So I guess that's my reasoning there. But just, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose that guy. And if on the depth chart for power forwards, well, I'll look at it from the dashboard view. So we've really just got two here. Jeremy Jennings, who just has two potential. We could be in trouble with power forward. And I spent so much time and effort into recruiting on the center side. So it'd be a shame if that happens, if we lose this guy, because, I think we've got some positives here. We've got what I hope is going to be a good point guard for us next year. Although Pepper, a shooting guard, he filled in pretty well at point guard, had a decent season. I really want that true point guard in next season. I think we could. I think we have a better chance if, and it's probably going to be a big if now, if Jones stays. But that's something I'll have to worry about going into next season. But let's get back to the games. I'm going to go back to the grid view for the tournament, and we'll just finish playing it out. So we've got Indiana, Iowa, Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, Minnesota, Michigan State, Michigan. That should be a good matchup. Michigan right now is probably the Cinderella of this group. But I think Iowa could surprise the way they beat us. They may be ready for a good tournament run here. All right, so we got Indiana over Iowa. Wisconsin beats Purdue. So Purdue, they were really hot early. Didn't play as well down the second half. You got Minnesota over Maryland, a big surprise. Michigan State, easy over Michigan. I think I just saw that Minnesota won. That would surprise me a little bit for the final here. Nope. I must have misread it. So Michigan State, easy over Minnesota, actually, 20 points. And then Wisconsin over Indiana. So Wisconsin going to improve their seed, regardless, I think, of how this game goes. And there may be a day break, like a break between the final and this one. Tulsa, team we played early in the season, beat us pretty easily in a tournament. They've had a good season. They may be going to the nope. They did have a game. So Wisconsin, 5 seed, but they win over Michigan State. They finished 12-8 in the conference, 26-9 now overall. So I think they're going to have a really big seed. End of the season strong, 7 wins in a row. You can see Indiana big in the conference, but just came up short in that tournament. So the brackets are set. So we'll close this for now because I want to look through. I want to look through some of these tournaments and see what's going on there. So Big Ten, I like to look at maybe the ACC. So we got North Carolina State and Florida State in that one. Let's see if I sim if that'll finish that. Yeah. So hopefully we can look at all the tournaments here. And we got an email. What's that about? The selection show. All right. So let's go back to the nope. Did it again. For whatever reason, as soon as you play that game out, it goes immediately into the selection. I really wish it wouldn't do that, but we're going to go ahead and advance. We'll probably skip the selection show. We'll just look at it from the bracket side. And I want to skip the show. And I think let me go back to the tournaments here. So ACC went to Florida State over North Carolina State. North Carolina State must have had a great season. And then Atlantic 10, Richmond over Virginia Commonwealth. Dayton, they were the first one seed in the tournament, and they went out pretty early. So Big East, Marquette over Butler. Let's see, Georgetown, a pretty high seed here. Villanova lost to Marquette. Big 12, Kansas. They've been pretty, I wouldn't say dominant, but they've really been high up in the polls and in the seeds, tournament seeds every season. They're having a good one here. Win against it looks like a pretty Cinderella West Virginia team's 10 seed in that tournament, which they were actually the lowest seed in the tournament for the Big 12, made it all the way to the final. Good showing from them. Let's see, Big West, is that? I always forget the tournament that Gonzaga's in, or the conference that they're in. So we'll look at the MAC, Monmouth over Canisius, Missouri Valley. I think there's sometimes some good teams out of this conference. It looks like Southern Illinois over Northern Iowa. And then OVC, just because my former team, Austin Peay. So they went 1-1, won the first one against Tennessee Tech, who Tennessee Tech was the team who won this tournament last season. And then they fell to Murray State, who wound up winning the tournament outright, so they're going to the Final Four tournament from that. Now we got Pac-12, Washington State over Arizona State, some pretty low seeds there. The one seeds were knocked out relatively early. And then SEC, you got Florida and Alabama. Alabama wins there. Arkansas, the number one seed. They've been pretty good in this since I've been simming in the Draft Day Sports program. So it's not the Southwest. Is it the West Coast? Yeah. So Gonzaga went out early and went to Pepperdine over St. Mary's. So now let's, I think we can go from here and look at the brackets. So let's see what we got. We're going to have to get through the play-in, so I'll go ahead and do that. Well, I have to go, I guess, another day. And unfortunately, we're not going to be in any postseason tournaments. I think we would have already gotten notified of that. So here's the way the regions are looking. So you got Kentucky, top seed in the Boston region. You got Cal State Fullerton, Tulsa, Iowa, Georgetown, a 5 seed, Southern Illinois, who won their tournament, I think, 12 seed, North Carolina State, pretty high against Richmond. Florida's a 2 seed, even though they lost the SEC tournament to, I guess, Alabama. I forget how the seeds were in that tournament. Arkansas was the top team in the regular season. So you got Idaho, Northern Iowa, Seton Hall, North Carolina, 6 seed going against Pepperdine. Kansas, a 3 seed against Harvard. And then in the Columbus region, you got Arizona, the top seed. Wisconsin is second. I figured they were going to have a really good seed after that tournament, Big Ten tournament. You got North Alabama, Clemson, Southern Methodist. Purdue is a 5 seed coming out of the Big Ten. Boston College, Notre Dame. Western Kentucky, 13 seed. And then Wisconsin, William & Mary, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, 2 SEC teams matched up in the first round. Mississippi, SEC team. San Diego State, Western Carolina. Then we go to the Oklahoma City region. Arkansas, they're going to be a top seed, even though they lost in the SEC tournament. You got Murray State, who came out of the OVC, lowest seed you can get, 16. So you got Creighton, Nevada, Pittsburgh, a 5 seed against St. Mary's. Then Maryland from the Big Ten, a 4 seed against South Carolina State. Villanova, Lehigh, Texas Christian, Colorado, Cincinnati. Pretty low seed for them. They may have had a fairly off year. They've been another team that's dominant in this since I've been playing this game. And then Alabama, 3rd seed against Texas Southern, Wright State also in there. And then the Spokane region, Michigan State top. So we've got Michigan State is going to be the top seed from the Big Ten. Indiana's 2nd in this seed in this tournament. You got Sam Houston State. Illinois makes it from the Big Ten. Utah State, Marquette, Georgia State. Florida State, a high seed against Winthrop. North Dakota, Washington State, Oregon. So that's it for, and Butler, pretty high 3 seed. So that's it for the Big Ten. So a pretty good round of teams. That's what I was hoping for when I took over that Penn State team, was that we would be in a very competitive conference. So it's going to make, I think, recruiting a little bit easier. And, we have a good season. I think we're going to be in good shape in the Final Four tournament. So just to recap, so that's Indiana, Michigan State, Illinois. That's 3. 4 with Maryland. 5 with Purdue. 6 with Wisconsin. And then in the Boston region, 7 with Iowa. They're pretty low too, 9 seed. So 7 teams from that Big Ten conference made the tournament. I mean, that's crazy. 7 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is it? 14 teams. Half the teams made the tournament. That's pretty impressive. Really is. So I'm like I say, I think that makes me happy in one sense, because I think, hey, all we've got to do is do good and have a good season, and we're going to look good in the tournament. But that shows you how competitive they are. I think we're okay on time, hopefully, here. I'm just going to go through this tournament and get through it. I think we can probably do it fairly easily. So we've got the maybe the NIT and a few other postseason tournaments playing in the background. May not pay too much attention to those right now, especially this season, since we're not really going to be in there. So opening play, we've got Kentucky easy over Cal State Fullerton, Tulsa over Iowa, Georgetown over Southern Illinois, really big. North Carolina State wins. No upsets here. Florida, big win over Idaho. Seton Hall, they beat Northern Iowa, a 10 seed over 7. I wouldn't call that a big upset. North Carolina over Pepperdine, and then Kansas easy over Harvard. And in the Columbus region, you got Arizona, big win over North Alabama. So their top seed moves on. 8 seed moves on. A big win for Clemson over Southern Methodist. Purdue wins easy. Notre Dame wins in a low-scoring game. Wisconsin wins easy. Mississippi State over Vanderbilt by 13. Stony Brook over Mississippi. San Diego State over Western Carolina. So if I'm reading that right, absolutely 0 upsets in this Columbus region. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Whereas here you've got Seton Hall, kind of the only team really that might qualify as Cinderella. So moving on to the rest of the first round action. So we're into this Oklahoma City region. We got Arkansas, pretty comfortable over Murray State. Nevada, 9 seed over 8. Big win, but I wouldn't call that necessarily a big upset. St. Mary's gave Pittsburgh a run, 89-91. Maryland, 2 points over South Carolina State. And then we got Villanova winning big over Lehigh, Colorado, a 10 seed, kind of an upset over Texas Christian. Cincinnati wins and Alabama wins. Now in the Spokane region, Michigan State over Sam Houston, Illinois over Utah, Marquette big over Georgia State, Florida State big win, Indiana big win. No upsets here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 through 8, and then the only really upset. I mean, like I say, 8 and 9. I think that's a toss up. But you got Colorado beating Texas Christian for what it's worth. So this year for this one anyway, there's not going to be any Cinderella, unless we get to say the final 8, Elite 8 or Final 4 even, and you've got maybe a 8 seed in there or something. But the opening round got through those low seeds really quick. So now we're going to go starting with the Boston region. Kentucky wins over Tulsa. Georgetown over North Carolina State, maybe a small upset. And then Florida easy over Seton Hall. Kansas easy over North Carolina. So you got 1, 2, 3, 5 in this one. And it looks like we don't have Iowa. They may be one of the few Big Ten teams to lose so far. So now moving to the Columbus region, Arizona big over Clemson by 30. Purdue gets by Notre Dame. Wisconsin over Mississippi State. San Diego State over Stony Brook. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5 in this bracket, and you've got Purdue and Wisconsin. So a possible Big Ten matchup there. And now we'll move on to the next one. And Oklahoma City, you got Arkansas keeping her going over Nevada. Pittsburgh, big win over Maryland. So Maryland gets knocked out. We got Villanova over Colorado pretty easily, and then Alabama over Cincinnati. So we got 1, 2, 3, 5 in this bracket. Not too bad. Michigan State, they're easy win over Illinois. I didn't realize that was going to be a Big Ten matchup early, but Florida State over Marquette. Indiana over Washington State, and Butler over Davidson. So you got, once again, 2 Big Ten teams right here from Oklahoma City bracket. So back to back here. 2 in the Columbus, 2 in the Oklahoma City. And now the last one, Spokane, Michigan State, another Big Ten matchup over Illinois. Well, did I just go through this one? I think I did. So we've got it's Spokane and Columbus. We still got 2 Big Ten teams in there. So we're into the this is not the Sweet 16, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Sweet 16. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 teams from the Big Ten are in the Sweet 16. That's how big this conference is, how competitive and how good it is right now. All right, so I don't think we've probably played any games out, man. These are some good matchups if you go just by the seeds. I've noticed in previous playthroughs or seasons, when I was with the Austin P team, you would always have some team that would sneak in there at least to the Sweet 16, maybe even Elite 8. But you're not seeing that here. It looks like Wisconsin's going to go down in their bracket. So we got Georgetown beating Kentucky and Kansas losing to Florida in that Boston region. So you got 2 and 5. That's a surprise. And then in Columbus, you got Arizona easy over Purdue and Wisconsin knocked out. So those 2 Big Ten teams are out of there. Indiana, they're going to be left, though. They beat Butler. They may have had a pretty good run if you look at all the seed matchups. So we got Pittsburgh knocking off number 1 seed Arkansas, and then Villanova big over Alabama. So you got 2 and 5 in this bracket, and then Michigan State and Indiana. You got an all Big Ten final in that Spokane region. So we're gonna have a Final Four team from the Big Ten, but we're down to 2 now. That's a pretty good showing altogether. So right away, that's a pretty big upset. The way Arizona was mowing through people, they lose to San Diego State. So San Diego State's in the Final Four. That's got to be a huge victory. I can't imagine that team ever making it in real life, into the Final Four. So starting out with Boston, Georgetown prevails. So you got a 5 seed coming out of this bracket, and you got that San Diego State beating Arizona. Now moving ahead, it's going to be Michigan State easy over Indiana, 87-58. What a nice run from Indiana. So we got Villanova over Pittsburgh, and we got Michigan State over Indiana. So Michigan State right now, the only number 1 seed. Yeah, the only number 1 seed still in this thing. And yeah, it's going to be a few more days, I guess. I could take a look just to see, like, if there are any teams I recognize here. Miami of Florida. This is the tournament that we were in last season at Austin Peay. Yeah, I got some pretty decent teams coming out of here. I don't think I checked Austin Peay earlier, and man, they had a pretty tough season. Let me do that while I'm thinking of it. So the OVC. Yeah, they finished 8-10 in the conference, but 11-20 overall. They had a rough time of it. I thought I left them with a decent draft class, but it turns out probably didn't. All right, so let's take a look at the NIT and see how that's going. So you got Minnesota out of the Big Ten. They're still playing. Coming out of the East. So it looks like they're in the finals, actually. Minnesota against Texas Tech. 2 pretty good teams right there. But let's get back to the Final Four here. So finals are going to be Georgetown, San Diego State, Villanova, Michigan State. It looks like Auburn prevailed there. And I think they were in the WL tournament as it's listed here. All right, so I think we're going to be, here we are, yeah, first games of the tournament. Michigan State loses, so the run for the Big Ten's over, but a tough Villanova team, 32 wins for them, 85-80, though it's a close game. So that means, wow, San Diego State and Villanova. I'm really surprised by that San Diego State. I don't even know what conference they're in. I hate to say it. I think it's probably, it's not the Pac-12. It's more than likely it's the WAC. Does that sound right? Mountain West. So you got San Diego State, Nevada, New Mexico, UNLV. I guess some pretty decent teams there, but I'm still surprised that they have that kind of a run because they're the only ranked team. Even though Nevada had a pretty good season, they're the only ranked team from that conference. So that's a mystery. So let's just see how it went. And wow, what a game. 83-82. Villanova wins. But San Diego State, a really good showing. Holy cow. So that, I don't know how, I know I'm all over the place here, but I really wonder if that's, and Villanova should be in the Big East, correct? Yeah, so I'm just curious what their history's been like with since I've been playing. Yeah, wow, look at that record, 117-30, and then season recaps. They made it to the semifinals, round of 16, and second round. So this is the first time winning the tournament since I started playing this game, but that's how it's going to go down. So we are now, we could go through, I guess, and look at the Association Award winners. I don't foresee us having anyone showing up here, but we'll see. And I'll probably skip this as well. If anything, I would probably be more interested in the conferences, but we'll see how that looks. So let's see. Entire association. We got Norton Award, Mike Walker out of Kentucky. Final Four most valuable player, Joey Edmond from Villanova. WS Player of the Year. I'm not sure what that is. I guess that's Wolverine Studios. Mike Walker, Defensive Player of the Year. Joey Edmond. So you see the trend there. Those two guys won most of that. And then San Diego State Manager of the Coach of the Year should be, it looks like. So let's look at first team All-American. We've got Kentucky, San Diego State, Kansas, Alabama, Villanova. Second team, Wisconsin guard Tim Wallace, Missouri, Seton Hall, Florida State, Notre Dame. So only one Big Ten guy there, right? Did I leave out anybody? Nope. And then if we look at the Big Ten, see if we got anybody. I can't imagine, like I say, anybody showing up there. Tim Wallace, first team all conference, Michigan State, Iowa, Purdue, Wisconsin, and then second team. Nope, none of our teams. It would be nice to get somebody on here because these are some really good players, I'm sure. And then individual awards, James White, Player of the Year out of Michigan State. He won them all. Defensive freshman, Coach of the Year went to Quincy Buse out of Indiana. How good is this guy? 5 stars. Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about. He's a freshman, 5-star player. My guess is, I don't know, I haven't really kept up too much on that rule with college, whether they can declare after 1 year still, but I would think this guy would be a candidate for going pro, but you know, he's only 17, maybe not. But that's how the season wraps up. We're going to go ahead and end the episode here, and I'll probably go through and get ready for next season. I'll probably go through and get all through the off season and into next season before I come back, and then hopefully these ratings will progress. That's the biggest thing I'm looking for, is to see if some of these younger guys see their individual ratings improve, and hopefully none of those younger guys transfer out. But as always, I really appreciate you guys' support. I hope you're liking this. I'm still looking for another game to play. I've just kind of been tied up with other things on the side, and I might come back to Out of the Park Baseball. Still trying to decide what I want to do there, but for now, I'm kind of enjoying this one. I hope you guys are too. Maybe, with fall coming pretty soon, it might be time to look at maybe a football type game, college football, American football, and I do have Football Manager. There's so many guys out there online who are doing way better playthroughs with that than I could even begin to compete with. So unless I can find maybe some weird angle, I don't foresee putting anything out on Football Manager, but that's a great game. I recommend it if you like sports management sims. But that's going to do it for this episode. I appreciate the support, and I will see you next episode.